you ever felt completely alone? Have you ever been so lonely that you felt rejected? You felt that you didn't have anyone in your life that could take care of you? Did you feel like you were abandoned even by your closest friends? I know that I have. I know that I have felt the kind of loneliness that I felt, such isolation. In fact, just recently, I've been feeling that. But what came to mind was Jesus. They think, there's people that call him the man of sorrows. And part of that is because of his loneliness. Consider the fact that he was fully God and fully man. His difference from everyone else had to have been a burden, because people knew he was different, and people are not as accepting of different. They avoid you, they ignore you, they brush you off as they're not normal. They're not like everybody else. Like everybody else is normal. And even in his worst moments, when he knows he's about to be crucified, he knows he's about to be arrested and crucified, he takes his 3 closest friends with him so that he can pray. And while he is praying, and they know how distressed he is, they go to sleep. They go to sleep instead of sitting there and praying for him. Even though they're not in the same place with him, he has gone off to another area, but he's asked them, pray. And they go to sleep. Do you know not even Job's friends, who later criticized him and asked him, what sin did you commit and all this other stuff? Why is this terrible stuff happening to you? What did you do? What did you do? Even his friends didn't go to sleep. They sat with him in the ashes for days before words were said. But Jesus' friends, in his moment of desperation, so much so that there was blood mixed with his sweat, which is a phenomenon that is, when somebody is under a great deal of stress, mortal stress, the capillaries in the skin can break and cause sweat and blood to mingle. Even in this moment, his friends deserted him. They fell asleep, knowing that their Messiah, knowing he's the Messiah, at least to an extent, knowing he's the Messiah, after having lived with him and eaten with him and seen the miracles, heard the Sermon on the Mount in person, seeing all the things that he has given, all the miracles. He saw him feeding the 5,000 and the 7,000. He saw the baskets. They saw the baskets of leftover food. These people that have been with him for everything fell asleep. How lonely do you think that was? Him going and finding the people that he was trusting the most asleep. And then one of those that he chose, one of his 12 closest, was his betrayer. They not only fell asleep, not only, but they actually actively sought out a way to betray him, knowing that death was going to be the result. Have you ever had a friend that has betrayed you to the point of death? Apparently not, because you're alive and listening to this. But consider that. Think about your group of friends, even if it's one that's just a little on the edge of the circle, and think about that person betraying you to someone that wants to kill you. Loneliness is not something that you're alone in feeling. In fact, Jesus understands a depth of loneliness that we will never experience, because when he is on the cross, he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? His own Father, our God, our Creator, left him in that moment because he was carrying the sins of the world. We will never experience that because God does not turn his back on us. Even in our sin, he created a way for us to not be alone, for us to have a chance at salvation. Think about that. When next time that you're alone, take solace, take refuge in the fact that your God will never forsake you. Jesus loved you so much that he took upon some of the worst loneliness you can even imagine and allowed himself to be killed for you. So loneliness isn't something that you have to experience truly alone. You are never truly alone. You have a Savior that's willing to give everything for you and feel a depth of loneliness that you will never truly have, especially if you're one of God.